With Cristiano Ronaldo leaving Real Madrid, you'd think that Lionel Messi and Barcelona have a straight run to become La Liga champions yet again. But who will replace the outgoing Andres Iniesta? Will Messi have any competition from new signings? And which former La Masia graduate still keeps his place in the first team? Those answers and more coming up in the next few minutes as I bring to you a potential Barcelona 11 for the upcoming season. We'll start, as most teams do, in between the sticks, where there's a German goalkeeper who's really proved his worth over the years at Barcelona. Marc-Andre ter Stegen has made the #1 spot his own since moving from Gladbach, and even though Jasper Cillessen has come in from Ajax in the last few seasons, he doesn't seem to be getting much playing time, so ter Stegen will be taking the #1 jersey yet again at the new camp. Into the right back spot, we have a curious case which seems to be happening around Europe, where centre midfielders are finding themselves at right back. Much like Joshua Kimmich at Bayern Munich, Sergio Roberto came through to the first team as a centre midfielder, but now finds himself as the club's #1 fullback. Barcelona did sign Alex Vidal to replace Dani Alves, but after a rather uninspiring spell in Barcelona, he's now been sold. As for Nelson Semedo, well, he was brought in from Benfica last year, but even he couldn't work his way into the first team. Let's face it, Sergio Roberto also scored the game-winning goal against Juventus in that incredible comeback a few years ago, so he's pretty much a hero, and that place will be his for the next few years at least. Over to the left side of the defence, and well, there's not really much debate about it. He's the left back for Spain, he's the left back for Barcelona, he has been for so many years, it's Jordi Alba. No one's really going to come close to rivaling him. He knows the way they play, he knows the system, and to be honest, there isn't really many better left backs out there for Barca to buy. So now we come to the centre back position, where the pairing is pretty incredible. However, outside the starting 11 there isn't much depth. Javier Mascherano said goodbye to Barcelona after 8 years back in January, and Gerard Piqué is definitely going to be there for the next few years at least. He's won absolutely everything there is to win under the sun since returning from Manchester United, so having him in here is a no-brainer. Also, his yearly spat with Sergio Ramos in the El Clasico is something you just can't miss out on. Alongside him is Samuel Umtiti, who's had a fantastic few years since his move from Lyon, turning from more of a left back into a centre back. However, it's the lack of depth which may be concerning for Barcelona. Yerry Mina was brought in January and obviously didn't fit the bill, and he's been shifted to Everton, whereas this summer they've signed Sevilla youngster Longley, who looks like a fantastic addition to the squad. However, with just 3 first-choice centre-backs, can Barcelona really cover should one of them get injured or suspended? That's obviously discounting Thomas Vermaelen, who apparently has cost the club a whopping £1 million per appearance since he signed from Arsenal years ago. He practically books himself into the injury table, so he's definitely not going to be considered for this team. So now we move into midfield, where there's a bit of a tactical analysis to be done as to whether Barcelona play with 2 players, 3 players in the middle, 1 pushing forward, 1 holding deep, 1 slightly moving out to the left. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen. But we'll start off with Sergio Busquets. He's come through the system, he knows Barcelona, they all love him, and to be honest, I can't really see him playing anywhere else. His dictation of the match tempo with the short passing combined with keeping everything calm is exactly what Barcelona have needed over the years, and he has provided it in Spain. Alongside him is going to be PSG target Ivan Rakitic. In the last few days, the Croat has said that he's definitely staying at Barcelona, and why wouldn't he? He's absolutely adored there and is certain of a #1 spot, despite the fact that they've brought in the likes of Arthur and Vidal over the summer. Vidal is a box-to-box midfielder much like Arthur, and elsewhere they have Rafinha, who's just come back on loan from Inter Milan. But with Rakitic's quality going forward and Busquets covering in behind, you can't really see this midfield dynamic changing. So with those two definitely in centre midfield, we come to the replacement for Andres Iniesta, who has already been at the club since January, in Philippe Coutinho. But how will they line up? Here's how I see it going down. Busquets will sit a bit deeper as more of a dictator of the play. Rakitic will push forward and be the passer who gets the ball from Busquets and then starts the attacking moves, whereas Coutinho will be more of a ball carrier, slightly on the left-hand side with the ability to cut in, much like Iniesta was. So they're not necessarily going to be in a 3-man midfield, but maybe with Coutinho as more of a left winger. And if he goes there, they'll have to balance it out on the right-hand side, and that's exactly where our next player comes in. Finally, after many loan spells and many buybacks, Gerard Deulofeu has left the club, which means that Frenchman Ousmane Dembele is a fantastic fit on the right-hand side. His first season after he moved from Dortmund last year was hampered with injury, however towards the end we saw exactly what he can do, and he started this season on absolute fire. His quick feet, dribbling and electric pace mean that he's the perfect foil and the perfect decoy to allow lots of space in the middle for a certain Argentinian magician. Of course, in the number 10 role, just behind the striker, it has to be Lionel Messi. I'm not sure there's much I could say which hasn't already been said, and if I did, it'd probably be a whole nother video altogether. Despite having a pretty poor World Cup, he's still banging form for Barcelona as he always has been over the last 13 or 14 years. Expect him to challenge once again for the Ballon d'Or, to lead Barcelona's charge to the La Liga title and potentially to win the Champions League back off arch-rivals Real Madrid now that Ronaldo's gone. New signing from Bordeaux, Malcom has looked like a real star player. However, I'm not quite sure he's ready to take over Messi's mantle just yet and may find more luck trying to play in Dembele or Coutinho's spot out wide. And finally, we come to the last player on this list, the striker who received a bit of abuse last season for not scoring as many goals as he could have done. He should have probably asked Karim Benzema for advice, who's still going strong at Real Madrid despite all their signings. Yes, it's Uruguayan Luis Suarez, who's formed a formidable partnership with Messi and the like up front for Barcelona and doesn't look to be slowing down anytime soon. With his energy, pace and willingness to run in behind, you can be sure that defences will be stretched left, right and centre, leaving space for Messi and the like to come in and score all the goals. Even when he isn't scoring himself, Suarez is an invaluable asset to this team, and to be honest, they couldn't really find anyone better without shelling out over 100 million for him. So there you have it, my Barcelona 11 for the upcoming season. Do you agree with me? Let me know in the comments below. Who should they assign? Who should be playing instead? And if they were to go all the way and sign Paul Pogba, where would he fit into this team? Let me know in the comments below, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.